Welcome back. Here's where you left off. Spoilers ahead for Convergence Book 5, Desperate Measures by Craig Alanson.
So we finished another book of Convergence, and we learned a lot about this book. We learned a lot about the characters. We saw characters, a particular character coming back. We saw gods, we saw flying dragons, we saw Atlanteans, we saw Valkyries, we saw everything, including Mike being humbled. And overall, I'm very happy with this book. I liked the way it started. At the same time, we finally got introduced to Theo, and I particularly learned a lot of things regarding a lot of things. And I do want to ask you the same question I asked you a few episodes ago. Kaz's and Theo's powers, are they the same or are they different?
I would say that their ability to manipulate stuff sounds like it's possibility the same, but Theo has a fundamental misunderstanding of magic. And if they come from the same parent, either one of two things is happening. Either Theo is a very specific type of wizard who only does certain things and can focus on spells and so forth, or he just doesn't understand how to properly manipulate magic, which I think is more likely the scenario, which means that him and Kaz are going to battle it out at some point in the future here. But I really did enjoy the introduction of Theo in the book. I was a little surprised we took like a change of direction midway through the book, but it was still fun. I still enjoyed it, and I am very happy that Macarius is back.
Yes, the love interest has come back, and it's really nice to see that. I do want to talk about Theo again here before we continue here. It's kind of funny though, because I described Theo and Kaz as Theo is book smart and Kaz is practical smart. And just reflecting on the way to do magic is kind of interesting too, because if you look at Theo is a chemist, right? He does a lot of things perfectly. Has to be around a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt, a little bit of chemicals, just to create the perfect wizard stuff, right? Compared to Kaz is like, give me a hammer and give me a saw and just build something from scratch. And, do you need instruction? Oh, no, I don't need it. I'll figure it out. I think that's the best way to describe this style of magic, because there was a lot of things that Theo didn't realize that Kaz can actually do, and just things that Theo. A good example is when Uncle Marcel put him in chains, and he can't use magic, but he tried to do it to Kaz, and Kaz is like, "Okay, this is just a nice bracelet, thank you very much," and he blew up the whole tower, right? And there was, and that's when I realized that, okay, so they're half brothers. Yeah, they're half brothers. We found out as well too. They're half brothers. So for them being half brothers, I have a feeling. I think you did. I think you made a point about this one as well too. If their father is the main dude, of course, their mother. There's a good chance that Theo's mother is a Muggle, and Kaz's mother is a wizard. Or witch. You know what I mean?
I think you got that mixed up. I think both of the mothers were Muggles and the father was a wizard. I think.
No, I don't think so. Based on what
they have the same father. They have the same father. Right?
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
based on what we saw, though, it's like kind of weird, right?
Yeah, but they didn't. But the mothers didn't do any magic that we know of.
That we know of, but if you look,
no, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that the way it looks like right now is the father went around to a bunch of Muggles and had a couple kids. That's basically what it looks like.
So in other words, the father's a slut, and he decided to like spread his seeds around and see what happens at the end. But I have a feeling that something else is different around this one. I have a feeling that the Kaz's mother is a witch. I don't know the best way to describe this. I got this feeling that she has powers as well too. That's why Kaz's powers is way different than Theo, and Theo has to learn about magic. He uses books to learn what he can and cannot do. Compared to Kaz has just picked it up, right? So there's a good chance that the mother is could be a theory. Could be that. That's just my theory, right? So it's possible. It's plausible. Than anything else.
I think it's plausible. I don't know if we're going to necessarily see that the way that this book took the turn where we went into the Nether, and it was interesting. It was more of an accident to go into the Nether in this book. They had sort of planned on doing something, but then their plan worked just in a roundabout way to get a bunch of beings on board and so forth. Kevin went home. I miss Kevin. Wish Kevin was around still.
I miss Kevin too. And Kevin will show up again. Kevin will show up again. I have a feeling he'll show up again.
Well, so I think that's part of the thing. Like Kevin is there. The Valkyries are there. Loki is there.
The squirrel's
Thor is there. So I think what he set out to achieve in the book is he did achieve. Where not in a roundabout way, but the goblin fights that are happening toward the Tuatha, I assume that the goblins are on their side. I mean, they haven't really explicitly stated that in the book as far as I can recall, but apparently goblins are bad. you know, and I said this in the last episode. Mike got to teach them what Sheffield steel feels like.
Yeah. Well, I do have a question for you though. For the life of me, I can't remember this. But hopefully you can jog my memory. The Tuatha, they did show up and try to fight Kaz, right? Or it's just
there was like the god battle with the clouds and like the lightning and all that coming at them, and I'm assuming that was the Tuatha gods fighting against Odin or whatever.
But there was another god showed up and started talking to Kaz though, right? Am I imagining things, or am I reading the same book?
This is where we were talking the last episode where like Craig really enjoyed the Marvel movies and he's really going hard into it. No, yes, there was other gods that showed up.
Another Tuatha showed up and had a conversation with Kaz regarding his power.
I don't know if it was Tuatha though. I mean, I wrote down the name, but I just was like, hey, I don't know if these were I don't think they were Tuatha gods. I don't think.
Okay, but there was something that there was some.
They were there. Yeah, they were there. Okay, they were talking to Kaz about the stuff. But I mean, the thing is that having the gods involved in what was going on wasn't actually the most interesting part to me. That Kaz was just forming alliances, and that he did stuff. And Craig has made a point to say this a couple of times, where Kaz is like, "I'm just gonna do it because it feels right." Maybe Mike doesn't agree with it. Maybe we shouldn't stand here around the dead warriors or whatever, but I'm going to save them. Just, you know what? Just because it seems right.
Well, the reason why they saved them is not what you think or what I think it is, though. He saved those fallen warriors of Asgard is to gain favor. In the same time, too, you're right. To do the right thing, but at the same time, it's more like, okay, I know this is doing this is the right thing, but at the same time, I'm doing this because it will achieve the mission that we're trying to do, is to get favor from a god.
That wasn't his purpose when he did it. That wasn't his purpose.
That was a secondary purpose. Okay, here's the question: would Kaz just do it out of like the blue without saying, "Okay, I'm going to do this for you"?
I think the character of Kaz has this moral approach to what he does, and when he thinks morally about it, he's always on the side of doing what seems to be the right thing to do versus his own personal safety. I think that's really more what happened, and why Mike fights against them all the time.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like, you have characters like Duke and the cat who are there as a buffer, okay, between Mike and him, that do that, where Duke might say like, I'll go thrash him or something. And the cat will stand up to the god and be like, hey, I'm vouching for this guy. I'm from here, that kind of stuff. Because they don't know who Kaz is, but he's collected a number of allies now where he's getting a coalition together that people are starting to vouch for him and starting to say, and then through his deeds, they're like, yeah, this is a good guy. So I suspect by the next book, we're going to get into a lot more of Tuatha, I suspect, because now he has a coalition. Now he has people that owes him a favor, whatever you want to call it, that believe in it.
It's like the Godfather,
The Godfather, yeah. I wasn't going to say it, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's the Godfather thing. It's like saying, okay, I did you a favor, now you owe me a favor. And if that's the case, I have this feeling that Kaz being nice is his character, but at the same time, he knows exactly what he's doing. Let's not brush that aside though, because remember, he has his mission. His main mission is to stop a convergence, right? And to do that, he's saying that, we need to find a god to help us. We need this. We need this. We need this. There's missions throughout the series and stuff right now that it will help him accomplish that mission, and accomplishing that mission is to help the fallen soldiers to go to Valhalla. That's his mission. So for us to say he's a good guy, he is a good guy, but at the same time he has a mission. He has ideas how to do that. So to stop convergence, he has to save them. If for example, if he goes to the Nether and there's no mission, I bet you he's gonna say like, "What do you want me to do?" Right? So we can't right now. We can't literally say that he's saving them because if it's the goodness of his heart. He's saving them because he has a purpose at the end that he needs the gods to help him. The only way he can get a favor is to help them, to help the fallen soldiers. Right? So. So I'm just saying that I agree with you. He is officially he's a nice guy, right? He's like he's the Keanu Reeves of the Nether, right? So but at the same time he has a mission to do.
Keanu Reeves of the Nether.
Yes, I literally said that. and it's just one of those things that
just seeing Kaz sitting on a stoop eating a sandwich with a coffee and
with his head down.
Hey, you want my sandwich? You want my sandwich, man?
But
he just.
Yeah, exactly. So so I have a feeling that him being nice is part of his character, but at the same time, if he never been put in that position, would he really help him? Because remember, at the beginning of the first book, his mission right now, before he found out he has to stop convergence, is try not to stand out, right? And for him helping the fallen to go to Valhalla, he's standing out because he needs help from Odin and his band of pirates. You know what I mean? So he's there's a
you almost said the merry band of pirates.
I know, right?
You almost said.
I'm just throwing words out now, guys. I'm just throwing out words, but you know what I mean, right? So, do you agree with that, or
I'm not disagreeing? No, I'm not disagreeing. I think it's a good point, and I wonder if the point of introducing Theo in this book was the setup for the next book, because he was only in really the beginning of the book, and the main plot line of that is, hey, Theo gets back together with the Order, and they agree that Kaz is a problem. They should work together. That was sort of the main plot of the first part of the book. And then Kaz gets us into the Nether, and that's the majority of the rest of the book. And just running around the Nether. And now, Signy was in there a bit. We didn't hear much from Azib, and we didn't hear much from Isabel. Giselle was badass in the Nether. And those sort of the character development. We lost Kevin, and we gained Macarius. I guess it's balanced out overall. I guess it's really balanced.
I really do miss him. I wish he can come back. I really like Kevin. Kevin is awesome. There's always a Kevin. But you're right. It's the this book, especially at the end, it's like, sorry, you're right. Theo showed up at the beginning, gave us a glimpse of who he is, what the history is. Now we know they're linked together because they're half brothers. Theo got injured and ran back to the Order, and it's like, please save me. And to be honest with you, I got really disappointed in that one because I thought, as a wizard, we'll have a backup plan just in case this stuff happens. Right? And for him saying that I can't cure myself, so we have to go back to the Order, but the Order doesn't like me because I ran away with all their stuff. And the Order is like, come on back. Let's hug this out.
That was a good way to put it. Like the dad comes in and is like, I'll forgive you. Like,
yeah, let's hug this out like men. It's like, come on. It's like when I read that, like I think I didn't tell you this, but when I read that, I was a little disappointed. That's okay. So he's coming back to show that he needs help. Fine, no problems with that. But it's like making a deal with a devil, but at the same time, you don't know which devil it is or who is the devil. Is it Uncle Marcel or Theo? But at the same time, Theo's injured, and he knows. And here's the thing too. He literally told Uncle Marcel that, or even his nephew or whatever, that all the stuff you guys are doing to me with all this chain does not work for him. So theoretically, he's more powerful than I am. He's more dangerous than you think he is. So let's go band together and get this guy so we can go back to our normal plan. It's like, I don't know, there's something's missing here that we're not privy to, because it will be nice to have a conversation with the author. But it will be nice to sort this out, because there was a lot of things there that left unanswered. I'm hoping it'll be fixed during the next book, right? But at the same time, I'm kind of like, why did you left it like that?
Well, let's talk about the end of the book then. Let's just talk about that, because the end of the book, Kaz opens up the portal, the baddies are coming after him, he pushes everybody through, jumps through, and then we're on Earth in Paris, and everyone's dead. And I think, if memory serves, it was like 1930s era.
No, the car
magic.
came from the 1930s.
30s, yeah.
But we don't know what exactly the
I mean, in the context of everything stopped in the 1930s, I guess is the context of what they're putting through, which is interesting. We can look at good sides and bad sides of this. World War II never happened, so it's a good thing. Everyone's dead. That's a bad thing. We could balance it out. So
maybe they're just in the bad neighborhood, and the neighborhood got maybe they're just in the bad neighborhood. I don't know, but at the same time, they have overgrown shrubs, so we don't know exactly where they are. Well, let me rephrase this: we know exactly location wise where they are. We don't know the time wise that they have a 1930s car era, but we still have 1930 cars era in IRL right now. So
we don't really have a lot of information there. But my question is what did you think of the ending? Like, what were your thoughts when you read, like, everybody's dead? It's like, they're dead, Jim. Like, what's
well, okay, first of all, they're not dead because we don't know if they're dead. So how the book ends,
he said there were skeletons in the cars, dude. They're dead. Come on.
The people in the car are dead. We don't know if everyone's dead.
Well, the idea is, if there's a car on the side of the road and it looks like the guy just died there, the likelihood is that something occurred. Now, don't get me wrong. There's lots of explanations here. It could just, we're doing off a single line in the book. Maybe there was a great famine or something like that, or some momentary thing that happened where the convergence happened in the 1930s for some reason, and then the gods are there and there's only a handful of humans left, the chosen few. I could see Craig writing in that direction. I could see that happening. Like, he's like the because Kaz wasn't there or something, or because he opened up a portal to a different dimension or something like that. I mean, I'm guessing here. What do you think?
I have a feeling they accidentally got into a movie set. Potential.
I mean, it doesn't really seem likely because they said they were outside.
Yeah, you can still have a movie set outside. So I'm just speculating here. It could be. You're right.
Although you do have a point. Craig does love doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a
So
very
I'm just
interesting
saying.
point, yeah.
Okay. Let's look at your perspective. Let me comment on what you just said. Okay. If they go back to the past, to the 1930s, based on that one line or whatever, saying that there's a 1930s car era and there's a skeleton. Cool. They're all dead, right? So you even said a good point that this could be another convergence that happens. So they're going back in time to a different reality, different universe, right? We're looking at a certain we're definitely going through we're going down
the rabbit hole here. We really are. Yeah.
So let me just finish this thought. Maybe this will answer the next book. They went to another universe. Remember, before when Kaz was putting the portal together, he's saying that it was slippering. They're not connecting, right? But as soon as he just let it go, it finally connected. Out of the blue, it just connected, and it went through, right? So I have a feeling that when he was trying to connect, I think he calls it the fingers of power or whatever. They're trying to connect. They finally connected because I have a feeling that instead of going to the index finger, he went to the pinky finger instead. You know what I mean? So it's a different universe, right? So if that's the case, going back to the 1930s when they saw a car, again, speculation in the era of the 1930s with a dead person inside or a skeleton, there's a good chance that the convergence actually happened at that time, just before that time, or a few years before that time they entered, right? So the scenario itself, where they are now, makes a lot of sense. But if you say you go back to the same universe, but the convergence actually started early because Theo went back in the past and do it, now we have there's a good discussion saying, yes, Theo went back. There's a good chance that Theo went back to the past, start the convergence, because remember, the Order wants this convergence to follow through because of Marcel's child or whatever, son. So there's two ways we can look at this. One is in our universe, and the other one is Theo went back to the past to start this convergence, and this happens.
I just wonder, Kaz opening portals from the Nether hasn't really gone so well because there's a time difference. There's a difference in connections. He can sense the difference in connections. I'm like, this doesn't really seem like a precise thing that you're doing. So going back, are you really surprised what's happened here, that something else has gone on? But it seems like when he connects only from Earth to Earth, he has a lot more success. Because remember, they went back to World War II or whatever that might be. But I think this book ending leaves a lot open for Craig to go in many different directions, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that statement there. But I don't know, Derek. I really don't know. She said there's a lot of openings. So my theory, I already suggested my theory. What is your theory? Because your theory is just like opening new possibility. What is your theory?
Yeah, I don't have a direct theory. I mean, I liked your movie set idea. I don't think it's accurate, but I do like it. It sounds like something Craig would do. That'd be kind of cool.
Just to screw us around. That's what it is.
I think the more likely explanation is that in this whatever, because time had changed, Theo went back in time and allow or help the convergence come to pass, because that's what he wants. And with the setup of Theo or whatever, that would make sense. It also allows Craig to go in a really new direction here. Think about it. If the Order has been successful and the convergence has happened and they're in power, or Theo's in power, or whatever, there's only a handful of humans and he rules them, or whatever that might be, it allows Craig to go in several different writing directions if he likes, in order to explore the characters differently, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. So, how do you rate this book? Just out there. Just say it out loud.
I'm gonna go with a 9 out of 10. I was pretty darn happy with it.
Explain, because that's pretty high up. We don't normally go that high.
That's pretty high up. The only, I could go a little lower, but I'm being real fair here. The thing that was a bit wonky was so much of the backstory lore, which took away a little bit from me. I know he was trying really hard to give a lot of background and context in the book, and that was great and wonderful. But I did find it took me out a little bit because you had to sort of read it and then reread it to make sure, and there was a lot of names, and I was writing down names, and I'm like, I shouldn't have to write down names. Like, this should be easy enough for me to remember all these gods' names.
It's just a you thing then.
It was an overwhelming of stuff, but I did enjoy the plot points. Maybe I should go down to 8 out of 10, maybe, now that you got me thinking about it. Just because it took me out of the book a little bit. I'm not criticizing him for that, but I'm saying that the effect had that for me. So what do you think? What's your review score?
I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. The reason why is not anything higher, not because the book doesn't deserve it. The book does deserve a higher score, but like I mentioned before, the way Theo, the first part of the book was about Theo, and they went to the Nether, and I was hoping that when Theo was introduced, will be more Theo-centric book, right? And for them going back to the Nether will be good as well, because it's great to see Macarius again, and we lost Kevin. I'll give it 5 out of 5, 5 out of 10 if it's just Kevin, we lost Kevin, and that's it. But I'm just joking. I give it an 8 because of the Theo thing. It would be nice to actually have more context with Theo, and if Theo was the catalyst going to the Nether and them coming back to the 1930s, if that's the case, I'll go higher, right? But the teasing of it hurts me because I want to know, but at the same time, I felt like it would be nice to have more Theo in the book. But having the Nether is great, so that's why I only give it an 8 out of 10. It'll be a lot higher if you have more interaction with Theo. That's just me.
Join us next time as we review The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share a review. We love to hear from you. Send us an email at yourbookmarksinfo@gmail.com. Join us again right here where you left off.